Get ready for the next battle.
What's going on, YouTube? This is D-Rec here with Argo, bringing you our first Gundam CG feature match here on the channel. If you guys enjoyed today's match, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and leave a comment down below about what you're looking forward to out of Newtype Rising, coming out later this week, actually. Jumping right into today's video, though, we just have a couple constructed decks out of these starter decks here, and I'll be taking the first turn in today's match there. I'm on the right, piloting a hybrid between blue MSG, white Gundam Seed, and then on the left, my buddy Mark is playing mostly the Siege Strike starter deck there, with two of them put together with some cards out of the beta, so he'll be running some of the cards he pulled out of the beta kit there a few months back, and we'll see some of that later in today's match there. But the early game is going to be pretty much just us ramping up resources there, getting to at least level 3 or 4, depending on what we have in our hand at the moment there. There's some cards in white-blue that I like to play for the low end, like the Strike Dagger or the Zawart. And speaking of the Zawart, we're going to play that out right now at level 2. Nice little blocker. The only downside is it can't attack the player, so unfortunately can't do anything against the shields there. But it is a solid blocker for the 3-2, level 2 cost there early on. So nice body to have on the board, even though it can't attack shield there. It would be nice if it could. Unfortunately, that text there prevents it from doing so. We had a little bit of a discussion regarding that earlier there. We weren't super familiar with the rules when we were doing the match here. We had to figure that out mid-match there, double-checking the comprehensive rules to make sure that the shield area was, again, referring to the player. So, jumping into turn 3. Nothing really, again, really major until we get up to level 4. I don't think I have anything else. I could pilot it at the moment, but it wouldn't mean too much of a difference, and I'd rather save some of those pilots. Most of the pilots that I play in my list are for either Earth Federation or White Team base, so that wouldn't work with these awards there being from Mercury side of blue-white from the starter deck there. So nothing to crew with that. That'll be the end of my turn 3. Mark will be getting into his turn 3 there. He does have 4. He's at level 4 with the EX resource there. He's gonna pay 1. He's gonna play the Overflowing Affection from the beta. Really solid draw 2, trash 1. A lot of lists that play white are gonna be playing 2 or 3 copies of that, so definitely keep your eyes out for that. It's like a $6 beta card right now. We'll see how much it is once Newtype Rising launches fully later this week. We're looking forward to that when that comes out there. Looking at mostly adding some of the Seed and the Gundam Unicorn there. Text into the deck here. A lot of high-end stuff from the starter decks, making it a bit high-end heavy, unfortunately. But we'll see some more of that as we get into the mid to late game there. We're only still at level 3 once again. Marky's going to throw down a Strike Gundam for the 2 costs there, doing the cycle for 1. Draw 1, trash 1. With the limited amount of draw power that the start decks have, minus the cards from the beta, of course, definitely need all the draw power you can get. Play heavily into the bases there to add cards out of life into hand there, as another way of maintaining hand resources. You don't want to reduce too much in the shield there. You don't want to progress the game state too much negatively on your side. But adding the shield to hand can be helpful if you're running low on playable resources there. If your hand's a little bricky with commands and maybe not enough units or pilots. We're going to throw down the RX-78. We're at level 4 now, so we're going to be able to throw that down for 3. And we do have the Amuro in hand, so we're going to crew that. Or crew, it's a magic term. We're going to link pilot that, so we have the link active there. It's going to give us the opportunity to attack with it the same turn. It's going to be swinging for 5/5. And because it's properly piloted, in this case, it didn't matter as long as it's paired and have to be link paired. But with regular pair, it's going to give it the +1 AP. So that's going to be a 6/5 during my turn. We're going to swing into his EX base, and that'll be the end of my turn 4. And then we traded the Zawart into the Strike Gundam there. So now Mark's at level 5. His turn 4 here. We're going to see what he throws down. He has a couple options. He's going to throw down Archangel. He's going to play his base out there. It's going to give him a bit more protection. He does lose the 1 shield there, but that's going to, again, be a way to regenerate hand advantage a little bit if he has minimal plays. He's going to throw down a Strike Dagger for 2. Level 2 for 2. It's 3/2. vanilla. At least give him a body that can swing next turn, potentially. And we'll get into our turn 5 now. We'll be at level 5 after this. And that'll give us access to some other high-end cards there. Again, we are playing the white Gundam seed package in here, so we'll have access to the Ale Strike, potentially. We're going to pay 3. We're going to pay 3. We're going to throw down a Gundam MA form. Good way to potentially draw a card there. And I see the command pilot. We're going to throw down the high auto, and then we're going to pilot that. Not a proper link, unfortunately, but that'll give us the draw. The draw is usually helpful. Again, working with only the start decks, no real great way of generating hand advantage outside of either the one-off draw effects or playing down a base to add from the shield area. So we'll swing once with the RX-78, and that'll be the end of my turn 5. Passing it off to Mark for his turn 5. Now he'll be up to level 6. Again, he still has that EX resource. He hasn't used it just yet. But at this stage, he may need to do something to rebuild his board a little bit, because I have a little bit of an advantage in board state. He's going to throw down an Aegis Gundam. He's going to come down if he has the Link Pilot. He does. He has the Aether Zala. He's going to be able to Link Pilot the Aegis. That's going to be able to attack this turn there. And then the Wind Link, I forget the Wind Link of the Aether Zala there. Oh, it does. I think it pings. I think it pings for damage. Or no, that's the Aegis pings for damage on attack. Oh, while linked, I believe it lets it attack active units that are not rested. So he has options here if he wants to go directly into my EX base, or if he wants to swing into one of my units there. Looks like he's going to swing into my RX-78 there. Yeah, he's going to swing into the RX-78. That's going to be a trade-off. He's going to do the on-attack effect of the Aegis to deal 3 damage to the MA form there. He's going to swing into that. I think at this point I'm contemplating if I want to play an action command here. We're going to tap 1 for a defensive action. We're going to throw down the Unforeseen Incident. We're going to reduce the AP of the Aegis Gundam by 3. So that's going to prevent lethal on my RX-78 there, and that's going to be the trade. Negative trade, unfortunately, for Mark in this instance. We're going to have our RX-78 stay on the board for this battle. But it will still take, I believe, 2 damage. So it goes down to 3 or 4, but no, it takes 3 damage. So it's a 6 with the Link Pilot. So that's the 3, and then he's going to swing in with the Strike Dagger for 3 as a trade, and that's going to remove my RX-78. I believe he's going to pay 2 here to throw down something else. Removing the EX resource, he's going to pay 2 for close combat to eliminate my MA form with 1 remaining HP. That's going to clear the board. So we're back to neutral board state. But at this stage in the game, it's going to depend on how well both of us are drawing. I think I have a pretty solid setup in my hand there. We're going to throw down a Strike Gundam for the cycle for 1. Yeah, some tough toss up there. I see I just drew the Hawk of Endymion. Good defensive action for later, potentially. Self discard. We're going to discard the Strike Dagger there. Possibly a good play, possibly not. Maybe a body that we need later on in this match. We are going to Link Pilot the Strike Gundam with the Kira Yamato there. That's going to make it a 5-4, I believe, or a 4-4. I believe it's a 5-4. It's a 2+2+1 with the Kira Yamato there. And then we'll do the Link, because we linked, we'll be able to attack direct. We're going to attack direct for the shield there, reducing him to 4 shield. And then we are going to play for 2 the Striker Pack. It's going to give us either a 4-2 or 2. We're going to go for the 4-2 Sword Strike with blocker. Really solid. And it's a tough toss-up, depending on what you want. You could either go for the 2-4 if you want the blocker to stay on the board, but I think the 4-2 is generally better. The only issue is you run into cards that can target it like either the Hawk of Endymion, or if he has another close combat that can ping it for 2. That could eliminate. He's going to throw down Mark on his turn 6 there. 2 Aegis Gundam MA modes there. The Breach 3. No pilots, unfortunately, but he's just throwing down the bodies to have on his board there. Going back to our turn 7, we're going to throw down another Strike Gundam. It's the promo from the starter deck release event there. Definitely want a couple more of those. Really solid cycler. He played 2 to 3 of it in white blue mid range. May want a couple more copies of that just to round off the list before Newtype Rising comes out. And again, if you're as excited as I am for Newtype Rising, definitely leave a comment down below. Looking forward to that release weekend. A couple release events coming up for that, for the booster packs in the next week or 2. Really excited for that. We're going to throw down for 4 the Ale Strike Gundam. Nice 4/4 blocker. No pilot though, but 4/4 blocker is really solid. We're going to attack into life. He's going to hit a striker pack off life. It's going to give him a 3/3 Ale Strike Gundam blocker. Really solid defensive check there. And I believe with that we're going to pass. The Strike Gundam on the other side there can't attack just yet, and we want to keep those blockers up for anything else. He does again have the 3/4 Breach 3. Potentially a big threat. You could swing into the EX space with one of those there. If I don't block it, well, if I do block it, doesn't matter too much. The Breach 3 will still hit into life because it will destroy the EX space, and then the Breach will, I believe, go into 1 there. So if it destroys that, then it will deal 1 to shield. The 3. He's going to throw down another Archangel on his turn 7 there. Adding more to hand there, but he is in a dangerously low position of shield. He only has 2 shield remaining outside of his base there. Definitely a precarious situation. He does have the attackers again with Breach 3, so depending on what I block with, that could break through. And he's going to throw down his own Ale Strike Gundam, another blocker to play a bit more defensively. He's 2 blockers now, the 3/3 and the 4/4. Not a bad situation to be in, but he is a little behind. Definitely needs to throw down something to catch up a little bit in life state at the moment. Gonna play another 1 here. He's gonna Hawk of Endymion, so I was talking about earlier. He's gonna Hawk of Endymion my 4/2. Now, if that were the 2/4, less threatening as a defensive blocker, but is protected from cards like Hawk of Endymion that checks for a 3 HP or lower card. Bounce it. And we're going to retort at the end of his turn. He's going to end his turn without swinging. I think he's trying to preserve his board state a little bit. But at the end of his turn, we are going to Hawk of Endymion his 3/3 blocker there as a little retaliative effort. That'll get us into our turn 8 here. We have a couple options. Literally a couple options. We have two cards in hand at this stage in the game. So I was talking about with lack of draw power, but again, we are only working with beta cards and the start decks. I'm going to throw down a white base, potentially useful for later for the pay 2 to deploy, or add 1 back from life there. I still have 6 resources left to work with, depending on what I was able to add off of that. I think I saw the ad was pilot. We are going to throw down another Ale Strike Gundam and the Kira Yamato to go with it to be able to swing, and that's going to make that a 6/5. And we are going to bounce his Ale Strike back to hand. We're going to start swinging. No, we're going to swing into his base. That'll eliminate the base there. And then the Strike Gundam from last turn will come in. 3/3. And he's going to Hawk of Endymion once again. Defensive action once again. That's going to bounce the strike. And we'll swing once again with our piloted Strike Gundam there. And then once again with our other Ale Strike. We do lose the blockers. And I'm still thinking Union Arena rules here. We're going to tap at the end of our turns there. We do not do that, unfortunately, in Gundam CG. It's not Union Arena where we untap at the end phase there. So I have no blockers readily available now, but I'm in a pretty good life space at the moment. I still have my base up, plus I'm at 5 shield. He's going to really need to throw down a bit more to be able to come back. He still has, again, the breach 3s. So potentially could do something here. I think he would have been in a better state than the previous turn if he had swung into, try to swing into my EX base with one of the Aegis Gundams. I could have blocked it. However, I did have the AL strike from previous turns there. That would have been a bit too aggressive. He might have lost the board state a little bit. But he's going to throw down another AL strike Gundam of his own with the pilot, the Creo Yamato that he checked from life in that last turn there. That's going to make that a 6-5. He's going to swing. He's going to swing in there into that piloted Aegis Gundam. He's going to swing that. That's going to reduce the AP on attack there. So he's going to save it by 1. He's going to attempt to trade into my Strike Gundam there once with the other Aegis Gundam there. And then he's going to swing it again with the Breach 3 this time. It's going to put 2 HP left on my active base. And he's going to throw down a Perfect Strike Gundam. Another blocker in the deck. Very solid. Again from the beta. So he's going to have at least one blocker up. But it's going to come down to what I can throw down this turn. I only have 3 cards in hand at the moment. I think I just drew another white base for turn. Not super ideal. We're going to activate the white base that we have on the board. They're going to pay 2. We're going to get a 3/3 RX-78. And not at risk of any other Hawk of Endymion. He's already fully tapped out from his last turn there with the Perfect Strike Gundam on the board. But it's going to really come down to what I can throw down. I see the Strike Gundam from last turn. He bounced that with the pilot, the Creo Yamato pilot. And I think I forgot to add a resource for turn there. It is turn 9, so I should get 9 resources here. We're going to pay 2. We're going to throw down the Strike Gundam once again, a cycle. We're going to drop the Mobius 0. A little bit useless at this stage in the game. It would have been better if we still had our command card to go with it. And then we're going to pay 4 to replay another AL Strike Gundam to have another blocker on the board. And that'll be the end of our turn 9. Passing it back to Mark. He's got 2 blockers on the board, and they can both attack now. It's going to come down to what the draws are going to be at this stage in the game. He's going to pay 1. He's going to throw down a Jin with 2/2. Then another one to follow it. A little bit risky, unfortunately. He needs to keep the blockers up. He's going to throw down another AL Strike Gundam. He's seeing, I believe that's 3 of 4 for both of us at this stage in the game. We've seen 3 of 4 of our AL Strike Gundams. Getting into the end game now. He's got 3 blockers on the board. He didn't swing last turn, so definitely needs to play a bit more defensively if he wants to maintain board state. I only have 2 cards in hand. I have another white base in hand at the moment. Trying to determine what the next course of action is going to be. We're going to pay 2. We're going to make a gun tank. 1/1. A little bit of a wasted play, unfortunately, I think. We're going to pay 2 again. We're going to play down another white base. We're going to play down that second white base we've been sitting on for the past couple turns there. Going to add a card back from life. And the card, if that's the card that I just added, then that is game, depending on how we play this turn out. So we're going to pay 2. And we are going to throw down the gun tank. Because it has 2 or less HP now, we're going to rest it. It's going to remove one of his blockers. We swing in direct for 3. He's going to block that. That should go away. We're swinging for 3 again. He's going to block with the Perfect Strike. And then our last attack, that'll be game. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, once again, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.